Greetings, Exiles. It's time for an SSF journey. As always, I like to add a small challenge to my solo self-found adventures, and this time it'll be a strength stacker build, because putting together this archetype in SSF is quite a difficult task, but it could make a fun video with plenty of grinding and lucky moments. Unfortunately, this isn't the kind of build you can just jump right into, and for a strength stacker, we need a lot of unique items. But at the same time, I don't want this video to turn into a zero to hero bait where I spend 90% of the time using a random meta build to farm all the gear for my strength stacker and only switch at the very end. So I've planned out the minimum set of gear I'll need and will try to get it as quickly as possible. For a starter, I'll need these items. This is a fairly rare helmet, but there's a divination card for it, so it's a pretty easy way to get it. I've already done this on my previous run as a life stacker, so I definitely won't have any trouble with it. This belt can be obtained in the breach, so this mechanic is the main focus of my starting atlas. It's a common item, so I shouldn't have any trouble with that either. But this particular weapon is pretty rare. It's tier 3, and I might have some trouble with it, so I decided to try out an interesting strategy. This league's mechanics yield a lot of gold, so I kept doing it throughout Acts 1 and 2. Of course, this slowed down my progress, but as a result, I have a lot of gold. Usually at this stage, you have a few thousand gold, but I've earned much more. Now it's time to gamble. The thing is, Brutus Lead Sprinkler is a very low-level item, and at level 28, we have a very high chance of getting it through gambling because, essentially, it's the only unique ritual scepter, and this particular base will come up frequently at this level. One attempt costs only 220 gold, and with my current gold total, I hope everything works out. If not, I'll come back here in a few levels with more gold. Nice. To be honest, it turned out to be much easier and faster than I thought. So I already have the first piece for my strength stacker. And the last item I'll need is Alberon's Warpath. It's a level 49 base, so I'll try gambling for it again, but a little later. As for the Ascendancy, it'll be the classic Juggernaut. This node gives us a lot of accuracy and attack speed, exactly what we need. And overall, there are plenty of defensive options here to make our build more tanky. Level 49. The time has come. More gambling. I hope I have enough gold for this. Like I mentioned earlier, it took me longer to finish the campaign this time, about 2 hours longer than usual, but I needed the gold for gambling, and I think it was worth it because I've already gotten a key item for my build, and now I have a chance to get another one pretty quickly. Well, after all, this is SSF, and there's no economic PvP with other players here. Finally, I was starting to get worried. Almost 200,000 gold. Nevertheless, the second key part of the build is mine. And a random cool upgrade. The league mechanics are really cool. This axe will definitely come in handy in my journey. As for my main skill, I haven't decided yet at this stage because it's a very flexible archetype, and you can use various melee skills depending on your preference and playstyle. Or even non-melee skills. That's why I've decided to stick with Sunder 4 now and will swap it out later, because most of the skills I want to try can only be obtained in the labyrinth, and right now, I don't feel like farming the lab. Well then, the campaign is over, and now the real fun begins. But first, I decided to take a break and go scuba diving, to stock up on gold for potential gambling, and maybe I'll find something valuable. First divination card for my helmet, unexpectedly. And my first divine orb. And more. I love scuba. Wow. This might come in handy for late game crafting. And even though it's a lot of fun underwater, I had to return to the surface because that's where I can get the rest of the items for my starting strength stacker build. My starting atlas, Syndicate, because it's a good source of experience early. Besides, I'll need Paradoxica later on. And that's a pretty rare item you can only get in Syndicate, so I decided to set up my Syndicate board as early as possible, because on average, it's a pretty long grind. And of course, the Breach for the unique belt. Breach monsters are also a good source of divination cards, even after the latest nerf. So I'll be running the Breach on this map, because this is where I can find the Watcher. Just a few more cards and I'll have the full set. And here's the belt I need. As you can see, it went pretty fast. I didn't even complete the third Breach quest. Now I'm taking a slight detour from my main goal because I need to finish the fourth lab and get my first Voidstone. That'll give me access to anomalies where I can find some really rare and awesome items. Holy ZDPS. Apparently, before the quest boss fights, I needed to tweak my build a bit. But for some reason, I thought my damage would be enough. But as they say, slow and steady. But it was a lesson for me, and you shouldn't underestimate a Juggernaut ZDPS in SSF. Back to the grind. This will come in handy for me too. No way. And this gift from the Breach tree, I didn't expect it and wasn't counting on it. A very strong amulet for my build. Cool. And the last card. I also need a shield. Fast Gamba definitely solved that problem. Not bad for a start. I need spell damage because combined with this unique helmet, spell damage will increase my attack damage, and that's exactly what I need. And some jewels crafting. Time to switch to a strength stacker. It's pretty scuffed. And my strength is pretty low. Just as I expected. In theory, I could have farmed the Legion for a timeless jewel, farmed essences and crafted a better shield and rings. But all that would have taken way too much time. And my main goal wasn't to build the perfect starter strength stacker build right away. It was to put together a minimal set for this archetype, something I could use to continue my journey and gradually improve. Overall, I think I handled this task pretty well and fast. And I'll fix all the issues as I go along. Alright then, the first stage is complete, and I can move on to the next one. I need these two items. And this is my new Atlas. Heist for the replica of Alberon's Warpath and the Syndicate for Paradoxica. I won't go into much detail about the Syndicate, because it's a complex topic. My board. Classic 2552 layout. First and foremost, we're interested in the intervention safehouse because that's where Paradoxica drops. And this will be my main safehouse for farming. Transportation with Gravicious will be my second safehouse that I'll be running. Gravicious was nerfed a few patches ago, but I gave him a chance anyway because he's better than all the other options. Overall, the Syndicate is in very bad shape right now, and there's not much point in spending time learning this mechanic. But still, Gravicious gave me a few gifts out of old friendship. 6 links. Just what I need. And this will come in handy too. Thanks, buddy. I've always believed in you. I'll be running the Mesa map because it has a good layout and a square with some solid anomalies. First, Kadairo. Nothing interesting. First Gamba box. Nice. But unfortunately, I can't open the Voidborn key yet because I need to defeat Maven to do that. But no big deal, I'll wait. And then there's the Heist anomaly. Most of you ignored it in the Trade League and forgot about it. But for me, it's one free wing blueprint and a chance to find something valuable. Not this time. Unfortunately, I usually do a big heist session when I've accumulated at least 100 revealed wings. But this time I found 3 blueprints with replicas, and I couldn't resist. So, a quick run through the heist, just to warm up. No way. Replica Headhunter. For those of my viewers who aren't familiar with Heist, this is a very, very rare item. Much rarer than the replica Alberon's Warpath. And it's very hard to find. Right now, many of you are thinking that this damn lucky cat is using his streamer client again to make his journey easier. But in reality, it's a completely useless item, and I won't be using it. So even though I found a very rare, unique item in the heist, it won't affect my build or my progress in any way. Are you kidding me? Another one of those rare items, but again, useless to me. I've only run through 3 blueprints and already found 2 cool items. I'm starting to believe in the streamer client myself. Anyway, back to the maps. I've completed most of the maps and unlocked the 3rd Atlas tree, but my goals haven't changed. Heist and Syndicate. Speaking of the Syndicate, here comes Paradoxica. It only took me 19 safe houses to get it done. Now I need the right mods. Nice. Chaos Penetration, exactly what I need for my next build stage. This is also a good option. Well, I'm done with the Syndicate for now, so I can go to Rogue Harbor. I've collected a few blueprints, so I can try my luck. Most of these blueprints are only with 1 wing because it's much easier than running contracts and unlocking reveals for them. Unfortunately, my character is too slow for that, so I'll be running blueprints like these. But some of them are fully revealed thanks to this Atlas node. Let's get started. The main thing is not to forget to turn on my favorite video on the 2nd monitor, because this is going to be a long grind. And here's my result after I completed just over 100 heist wings. Nothing special, just some good loot. Before I head back to the maps to restock on blueprints, I need to visit the labyrinth because it's time to change my skill. Sunder is certainly good, but my choice will be Smite of Divine Judgment. It's a very enjoyable and convenient melee skill for mapping. Finally, on my 12th try. Sunder isn't a bad skill, but personally, I find Smite much more enjoyable and comfortable, and after I made the swap, playing became much easier, even though my damage didn't change much. But the feel of the game is completely different now. It's hard to describe, really. But enough yapping, blueprints aren't going to farm themselves. Not a blueprint, but cool finds anyway. The second one, this is starting to get interesting. I also got a little sidetracked by Breach because I need this unique armor, and the Breach tree is a good way to get it. It's that simple. Just about 25,000 graft blood, and the armor is mine. A big upgrade for the build, by the way. 6 links. Nice and easy. I've accumulated a few blueprints again, but before I dive into making this fun content, I decided it was time to craft some new rings and gloves because my current ones are just awful. But to do that, I need essences and some harvest juice, so it's time for a new atlas. After I farmed some essences, I swapped them on a harvest bench. And I started crafting. Not bad for a start. And another ring. Now this is a really good ring because, using Allflame crafting, we can change dexterity to strength. It's that simple. And the finishing touch. No way. Tier 1 life. How does he do it? Many people have asked this question. I have no idea. Now it's time for the gloves. I ran out of essences, so it's time for some alteration spam. Not a bad base. This might turn into something good. Dexterity. But thanks to Allflame and ducats, we can get strength. Cool. Benchcraft. And some exalted slams. Much better than my current gloves. Now I'm ready for the second round of the heist. Again, a bit more than 100 wings. More cool rings. And a juicy amulet. And my loot. No lucky drops like Replica Alberon's Warpath, Helical Ring, or Simplex. Actually, this is going to be a very long grind, and I'm mentally prepared for it. I need more blueprints. Way more. Maybe I'll be able to find not just blueprints, but something even more valuable. Like this. No way. Surely not. A very useful ring. Now I just need to find the helical ring. Surely not. I hope my viewers haven't lost their sanity yet after these lucky moments. As I said earlier, doing reveals for blueprints isn't a very good idea because you'll run out of rogues markers quickly. Plus you have to run contracts, which slows down your progress quite a bit. But there are always small exceptions to the rules. For example, I've already opened a lot of smugglers' caches and have accumulated plenty of rogues markers as well as deception contracts. Deception contracts are the best contracts because you can complete them much faster than the others, and with Gianna, you'll get 2 reveals instead of 1. So I turned these contracts into fully revealed blueprints. This time, I got almost 150 wings. The stakes are rising, and the grind is getting even more grindy. And these could have been Replica Alberon's Warpath. Sag. And one more time. Nice tink, but not for my build. And here's my result. Honestly, it was a crazy run. All 4 of these unique items have the same rarity as the Replica Alberon's Warpath. And this scepter was added in this patch, so I don't know its tier, but for some reason I feel like it's also very, very rare. Lots of cool finds, but unfortunately nothing I actually need. I think I'll take a little break from Heist because there are a lot of upgrades for this build. For example, I need the Timeless Jewel, so I need to farm Legion. Also, the Delirium in my menu, because I need split personality and clusters. More essences and harvest juice wouldn't hurt either. And of course, blight oils and catalysts. And some other stuff. Strength Stacker requires a lot of different items and involves interacting with various game mechanics, which is exactly why I chose this archetype for my journey. Since there's a lot of content here and it should make for a great video. As I said earlier, there are many different mechanics and atlases for them, but each one will include a heist, because I still need a lot more blueprints. So as soon as I have 150 revealed wings, I'll go back to my favorite heist. But all of that will be in the next part of this crazy journey. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I'd also appreciate your likes and subscriptions. Bye for now, and see you in the next videos.